can't sustain energy and effort for 48 minutes. And they can. That's why they won a championship. That's a championship team right there. We're not. So, I don't understand.
LeBron, where he doesn't want to be held accountable that they're not another year of not winning.
He's just an awful leader. I mean, maybe he could have said, hey, I was 2 of 6 in that fourth quarter because he said we didn't make our shots down the stretch. We had great looks from 3. We didn't make them. No, you, LeBron, you were 2 of 6 in the fourth quarter. You were 0 of 2 from the three-point line, 0 of 2 from the free throw line. Like, maybe some accountability.
Back to this. The Lakers have moved on from LeBron James. He's crying for them to build the championship roster, and they're telling him right in the front of his face in today's world, in 2026, that it's not about you no more. This is about Luka Doncic. This is about our future. We're not rushing to do anything to please you.
Did LeBron James just mentally check out on his own team in the middle of the season? That's the question fans started asking Wednesday night after the Los Angeles Lakers were blown out by the Oklahoma City Thunder. The loss itself was bad enough, but it wasn't just the scoreboard that caught attention. It was the tone. It felt like frustration. It felt like resignation. And to some, it sounded like the so-called king was waving the white flag. Following the game, LeBron's comments didn't exactly inspire confidence. Instead of rallying the group or emphasizing adjustments, his words carried the weight of someone who might already see the ceiling. When a veteran of his stature speaks that way, it lands differently. This isn't a young star learning the ropes. This is a 4-time champion who understands championship windows better than anyone. So when his message lacks urgency or belief, people notice. The Thunder didn't just win, they dominated. Energy, execution, pace, physicality, everything tilted their way. The Lakers looked a step slow and a level below. And when that gap becomes obvious on national television, it raises uncomfortable questions about roster construction, depth, and long-term viability. For a team with title expectations, getting run off the floor sends a loud message. But here's the real tension. Is LeBron simply being realistic, or is he signaling something bigger? At this stage of his career, patience is thin. Every season matters. Every loss carries weight. If he sees flaws that can't be fixed, his tone may reflect that reality rather than...
No, you, LeBron, you were 2 of 6 in the fourth quarter. You were 0 of 2 from the three-point line, 0 of 2 from the free throw line. Like, maybe some accountability.
Did LeBron James... And let's be honest about one thing. The Oklahoma City Thunder didn't even have Shai Gilgeous-Alexander on the floor. They were missing their MVP-level superstar and still made the Los Angeles Lakers look completely outmatched when it mattered most. Down the stretch, it wasn't competitive. It felt like varsity versus junior squad energy, and that's not exaggeration. The intensity gap, the execution gap, the composure gap, everything leaned heavily in OKC's favor. But the real moment didn't happen during the game. It happened afterward, when LeBron James walked to the podium, sat down in front of the microphones, and chose honesty over optics. There was no sugarcoating, no polished PR lines, no safe cliches about figuring it out, just blunt, sharp truth. And that tone carried weight. When a player of LeBron's stature speaks that directly after a loss like that, it sends shockwaves. Because this isn't just frustration, it's perspective from someone who has seen every level of basketball success. If he sounds unconvinced, people assume...
That's a championship team right there. We're not. We can't sustain energy and effort for 48 minutes.
When LeBron James was asked to compare his Lakers to the defending champions, he didn't hesitate or sugarcoat his response. There were no long-winded explanations and no forced optimism. It felt like a mic drop moment, like the king surveyed his kingdom and quietly admitted, "This isn't it." The tone was calm, but the message was loud. The internet reacted instantly. Debates erupted everywhere. Was he simply being honest about the gap between his team and the league's elite? Or was he unintentionally tearing down his own locker room? Sports talk shows ran with it for an entire day. Some analysts praised him for keeping it real and refusing to sell false hope. Others argued that leadership sometimes requires protecting your team publicly, even if the truth is uncomfortable. And honestly, both sides have a point. Transparency builds credibility, especially from a veteran who has seen championship standards up close. But words matter in a
where he doesn't want to be held accountable, that they're not another year of not. You don't have to say everything out loud. Okay? Like you don't. I don't think it's fair for this guy who's an all-time great, and he has one of the youngest and biggest stars in the game playing with him. They have no shot.
Here's the uncomfortable truth. The Los Angeles Lakers do not look like a championship team. Not close. Not even in the same tier as the league's real contenders. If you've watched them this season and convinced yourself they're lifting a trophy in June, you're ignoring what's happening right in front of you. The numbers tell the story. Out of 30 teams, the Lakers are sitting 22nd in defensive efficiency. 22nd. Championship teams don't live in that neighborhood. That's not elite, that's survival mode. And when your defense folds under pressure, it doesn't matter how legendary the names on the roster are. Titles aren't won on reputation. Let's be real. This isn't a minor adjustment situation. It's not just about tightening a few rotations or communicating better on switches. The Lakers are closer to the basement than the penthouse defensively. They rank 27th in defensive field goal percentage, which means opponents are getting the shots they want. Layups at the rim, clean mid-range looks, open corner threes. It's open season against this defense. And in today's NBA, if you can't consistently get stops, you're not competing for championships. You're hoping to survive shootouts. That's not the formula of elite teams. It's the formula of teams fighting just to stay relevant.
The Lakers have moved on from LeBron James. He's crying for them to build the championship roster, and they're telling him right in the front of his face in today's world, in 2026, that it's not about you no more. This is about Luka Doncic. This is about our future. We're not rushing to do anything to please you. This is what.
And if the earlier numbers weren't alarming enough, it gets worse. The Los Angeles Lakers rank 28th in contested shots per game. That means they're not even consistently challenging opponents. Championship defenses make teams uncomfortable. They crowd space, disrupt rhythm, and force hesitation. The Lakers, on too many nights, are allowing teams to get comfortable early, and once shooters heat up, it's hard to cool them off. So when LeBron James says this isn't a championship team, statistically, he isn't wrong. The numbers support him. But this is where context becomes important. This wasn't a 30-point blowout from the opening tip. It wasn't a game where they were embarrassed wire to wire. They were in it. They led by 1 at halftime. It was tight heading into the fourth quarter. They had a legitimate chance. Then the fourth quarter happened. LeBron went 2 for 6 from the field, missed both of his 3-point attempts, and went 0 for 2 at the free throw line. When the pressure intensified, the shots didn't fall. It happens. Even legends have cold stretches in big moments. But what made the situation complicated wasn't just the missed shots. It was what followed. Right after a winnable game slipped away, that's when he publicly reinforced the idea that this group isn't built to win it all. And that timing is what sparked the real debate.
Do you know what the Lakers' record is when they have a lead going into the fourth quarter?
It was like 18-1.
You know what the record is? 23-.
When LeBron James essentially said we're not good enough, that's when things really ignited. Because leadership isn't just about being factually correct. It's about timing, accountability, and tone. It's about looking in the mirror before looking around the locker room. Think about Kobe Bryant for a second. If he went 2 for 6 in a fourth quarter that slipped away, his first response would have been, "I didn't get it done." Even if the loss wasn't entirely on him, he would own that moment publicly and handle everything else privately. Protect the team in front of cameras. Challenge them behind closed doors. That's why this hit differently. There are still games left. There's still time to build momentum. There's still a path if the group locks in. But instead of fueling belief, LeBron's comments felt like he lowered the ceiling. To some, it sounded like he told his teammates and the fans not to expect much. And once doubt creeps into a locker room, it spreads fast. Confidence doesn't respond well to public ceilings. And here's what makes it more complicated. This roster isn't empty. You've got LeBron sharing the floor with Luka Doncic, one of the most gifted young superstars in the league. That's star power, not a rebuilding project. Less than a year ago, analysts were calling this core a nightmare playoff matchup. The energy was different. Now, after a loss to the Oklahoma City Thunder without their best player, it feels like a season eulogy already started. Champions don't talk like the road is over when there's still pavement ahead. Then it gets deeper. LeBron isn't just some veteran riding out the clock. He's had influence. He's been part of roster conversations. So when he says the team doesn't have enough, it naturally raises another question. Who helped shape the enough? If the blueprint isn't championship level, doesn't some responsibility fall on those who had input in building it? That's not criticism, it's accountability. You can't help build the house and then act surprised when the roof leaks. That's where Kendrick Perkins added another layer to the discussion. He suggested the Los Angeles Lakers aren't building around LeBron anymore, they're building around Doncic. They're thinking about 2027, 2028, 2029. Long-term vision instead of short-term legacy. And for a player who's been the centerpiece for over 2 decades, that shift hits differently. For 20-plus years, franchises adjusted timelines, systems, and rosters around LeBron. Now the spotlight slowly shifting away isn't just basketball, it's identity. Maybe those comments weren't really about Oklahoma